Hey everybody, my name is Con, and I'm here to talk to you today about Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Now this weekend, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter came out, and to be honest, I think it was probably one of those things that was better as a book than it was as a movie. Now, I didn't actually read the book, but you know how sometimes things look better on paper, but... Now, I will admit that I went into this with low expectations, and I wasn't disappointed. Or... I was. Not really sure. Now, essentially, I thought it was just going to be like a retelling of Lincoln's life, with this fictional story about vampire hunting mixed in, but it actually also turned out to be kind of a smack in the face to the African American population. Now, having not read the book myself, I can't say exactly, what the differences were between the book and the movie, but as we all know, some things have to get changed for, the story to flow better. But the movie would have us believe that the entirety of the Civil War wasn't anything to do with the abolishment of slavery, but to cut off the food supply for the vampires. Now, Lincoln, played by Benjamin Walker, who hasn't been really in anything important, starts out by trying to get revenge on the vampire that killed his mother. Of course, not knowing that vampires existed at that time. Now, of course, not knowing that he's going up against a vampire, he gets his ass kicked, but he's saved at the last minute by Henry Sturgis, a vampire hunter. Henry reluctantly teaches Lincoln how to hunt vampires and gives him a silver-bladed axe, and this is actually where my problems with the movie start. Now, with all the mythology around killing vampires, with garlic or, stake through the heart, crucifixes, sunlight, you think the filmmakers and the guy that wrote the book would have had plenty of different ways to kill vampires, but apparently they go with silver, which I may be wrong here, but to my recollection that doesn't have any effect on vampires. It only affects werewolves. And not only is silver the main weapon here, but they basically discount the fact that sunlight will kill a vampire. They say in the movie that vampires can adapt to sunlight. So it's like they said, we have all this canon already established for us here, but fuck it, I'm just going to do however I want. Now, putting all that aside, assuming that silver does have some sort of effect on vampires, they don't actually, tell you what effect it is, or they don't show you or anything like that. You just have to accept that silver is what is needed to kill a vampire, and that's it. And this, of course, gets emphasized at the end of the movie, which I can't really tell you about because that would ruin things for you. But essentially, silver, only way you can kill a vampire, so if in the future vampires start attacking people, don't go for a garlic or a crucifix or a stake through the heart or anything like that. Just grab, a fucking silver fork, and that should save you, I guess. The other part of the movie that I have problems with is some plot holes. Now, they're not major plot holes, but they're kind of annoying, at least for me, somebody who's paying attention to the story. Part of the movie has Lincoln going after a friend of his that was kidnapped by vampires, and he's informed of this by another friend. I think his name is John Speed or something like that. And he says, "Hey, Abe, they've taken Will, and so we need to go get him back." And he's all on board with it. And in the very next scene, it's like a smash cut to them on a boat. Lincoln's, flinging his axe around, being all fancy and cool and shit. And John Speed just, chilling on the boat with him. And then they have Lincoln narrating, like, "Oh yeah, I on the way there, I told John Speed everything, and he's on board now. He knows what's up." And it didn't really make sense to me, because when Speed informed Lincoln that Will had been taken, he didn't seem surprised at all that he'd been kidnapped. It's like, he knew that Lincoln was up against something, and people were gonna try and be going after him. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, hey, there's this whole other element that I was not aware of. So I don't know. That part really didn't make any sense to me, and I think that the filmmakers probably missed out on a great opportunity to, show how people might be, react to this whole, oh hey, I'm Abe Lincoln, I'm the president, but I also kill vampires. I think that probably would have been a good opportunity in there, at least to see some sort of reaction to it. Now back to what I was saying about the purposes of the Civil War. Essentially, the main vampire in the movie, who they call Adam, He wants to basically give the vampires a nation of their own. So imagine, this is basically like the precursor to the True Blood universe, where humans and vampires kind of cohabitate. Now, they're in the South right now, which is good for them because I guess the slave population is their main food source. And business is good because, who's going to miss a bunch of slaves, right? But obviously as the vampire population grows in the South, they're going to need more room. So, they're expanding to the North. And so when Lincoln is trying to abolish slavery, what he's essentially doing is, cutting off the vampire's food source. So that basically compounds the problem that Lincoln and the vampires are having. Now, I can't really go into too much more detail because that'll basically just ruin the story for you, as if it really needed any of my help to do that. But my rating for this movie would be 2 out of 5, and I think that's actually pretty generous. And as of this recording, Rotten Tomatoes has the movie at about 38%, so I guess I'm kind of backed up on that. So, bottom line, if you want to watch a retarded movie with cartoonish CGI that makes you wonder where their $70 million budget goes, then this is the movie for you. Otherwise, you should just save yourself the money. So if you like this review, please let me know in the comments below. Subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. The next one coming up will be Looking for a Friend for the End of the World, starring Steve Carell and Keira Knightley. That should be posted shortly. I need to record that first. So, again, if you like what I have to say or you hate what I had to say, let me know. And, hopefully I'll be able to get your approval in the future. Right, so until then, I will see you all later. Thanks.